So, whilst I'm just getting this started, everyone, I'd love to welcome Heather Atkinson to the call. And Heather, whereabouts are you joining us from in the world?
So I'm in the UK, and I have to show you this because this doesn't happen very often in the UK. If I can turn my computer around. It's beautiful and stunning.
You've got some sunshine.
It's beautiful. It's a warm day. Yes, fantastic.
Well, I think I was actually over in the UK maybe last year, the year before, at about this time, June, July, and we had 2 months, I reckon, where it was like that, and then quickly it dissipated really, and it went back to the grey skies.
We love it no matter what the weather. UK for me is just fantastic. I love it. I really enjoy it here.
So tell me, what do you love about the UK? I know you've only just recently moved there, but what's caught your attraction in going over there in the first place?
Family, absolutely family. I lived away from my family for 30 years. You know, when I first went to Perth, it was for adventure, travel, sports, all the things that you're attracted to, you know, in your late teens, and spent 10 years really just traveling the world, America and Canada, lived in a kibbutz and done all those wonderful carefree things, but settled in Perth and had my children there. And really wanted to come back many of those years, but of course you don't. You get into the routine of life in school. And my mum wasn't well, and I decided that, you know, I'd have to come back and spend some time with her here. So it was family really that brought me back, and I knew Isogenics would launch somewhere in Europe. So I really got into the hang of technology so that I could run the business from the UK over in Australia. So yeah, I really enjoy everything about this, everything, nature, just the fact that it is home. I've got the same friends of 50 years here. So
wow. Yeah, that's really cool, Heather. And like we were chatting before everyone jumped on, Heather was sharing that, you know, she sees herself as a bit of a technology dinosaur. And before you sort of stepped into this opportunity, and that's something that we want to chat about tonight, Facebook didn't exist, Instagram didn't exist, Zoom calls didn't exist. I remember we were doing conference calls, and like you said, you were just sharing this really organically and from a belly-to-belly point of view for a long time. And now we've got this amazing opportunity where we can actually share and impact people from all parts of the globe. So from me to you, I'd just like to say thank you for joining us. And that's a beautiful little preamble, I think, to who you are, Heather, because someone who's traveled the world and what other people don't know about you as well. And we'll capture your story in a little bit more detail in a second. But you know, when this opportunity, this networked enterprise, this shared economy that, you know, is partnered with Isogenics sort of really fell across your lap, you were a single mum and you were doing it quite tough at the time. And obviously it's very different to where you are now, because you've obviously got, you know, the time freedom and a lot of abundance to be able to share and really impact other families, and to move to the UK and be with your mum. But what about if we go back to the beginning and go back to where this story really started, and do you mind sharing that, and I guess how that led you to be open and fall into this opportunity?
Absolutely. And when I think back, which I do all the time, because that to me is the reflection part of what far we've come as a company, how far I've come as a person. I was a personal trainer, sports coach, athlete, and I saw you put I had 2 jobs. I had 3 jobs. I was working as an entrepreneur as well, and I was a single mum. And, you know, if you'd have looked at my life, Rory, you would have said, Heather's got a great life. I was happy, healthy, lots of friends. But there was a few things that people didn't know about me, and you do keep things to yourself, things that are worrying you. I used to go to bed every night with a knot in my stomach. I'd wake up every morning with that same huge knot in my stomach. I had absolutely no financial plan for my future or my children. But there's a little bit of a backstory that goes with that. I'd watched my mum pass away, broke, unhealthy, unhappy. And, you know, that was a big fear for me, that my children would watch me in the same situation. But of course, you know what you know. I was very uneducated about money. I didn't understand money. You know, I was the same as most people. I worked really hard, went around in circles. And the thing that was tricky for me with my sport and my clients, I had a very, very strong belief we didn't need nutritional supplements. And I kept that belief for 20 years. Gosh, I think now, God, how terrible. I should have given everybody the money back for the first one raining. So, you know, I was sponsored as an athlete by a company. Those products made no difference to my health. So I was really, I suppose, against supplements and against any other way of doing business. And there's a real clue to this. You know, I'd be approached by so many people to try so many products. I've always said no. And Aaron and Dave Miller have been my best friends for 20 years in Perth. They were also my clients many, many moons ago. They said something so simple, and this is the beauty of this business. It's not what we say, it's how we say it. And Irene was so simple. She said, Heather, we're using a nutritional product. It's great. We think it would be great for you. Didn't even question it. I said, of course, I'll try it. You know, they were my friends. Why would they not tell me the truth? It's a great product. So I took the product, and you've probably seen a few pictures of me floating around. I was an athlete. I did have a six-pack. I was really healthy. And, you know, I didn't expect to have any changes to my body at all. And I think you'd have to jump inside to understand the changes I had. It was really more on a mental level, how I felt. And we know the product stories, they're amazing. I grew lean muscle, I trained less, and still had the same results, even better results. I improved as an athlete. But here's the deal, here's the kicker. I really didn't feel that I could share nutritional supplements with anybody, no matter how good they were, because I had that very strong belief, especially my clients. So when I finally got over myself, finally got over that hurdle, I did realize, you know, we have to share this with people. We have to let people know what we've got. But another but, and I always share this because I think it's very important, because you will have people on this call, people in the wider community that are great product sharers, which I was. I loved to share the product, but had a little stigma about the business. I had a real, oh gosh, network marketing, you know, being uneducated about money, I didn't even think about it. And one of my clients in particular, she'd gone on the products, had fantastic results, and life had changed completely. And 6 months into, after I shared with her, she came to me and said, I've got to stop these products. Our business has gone bust and I can't afford them. And Rory, we've all had moments in our life where you've gone, ooh, and it's like a bolt has hit you in your chest. Well, that was my moment when I realized that this was just not on. I had to understand what this business was about, and I had to get out of my own way, regardless of what I thought about network marketing, so I could share these products and then this opportunity. So that was one turning point for me. And things started to grow. Business started to grow. Very small. I remember my first $54 check. We didn't have a ISA wallet those. It was a check. And my daughter, mad keen horse rider, that $54 made the difference for me to be able to take Jade to a horse riding lesson and pay for it. Yeah. So,
and if we stop there for 1 second, because I want to really capture a couple of things that you've shared, right? Because you know, for those that are listening, that might be new. Like when we talk about the products, like essentially it's just integrating rituals like intermittent fasting, which is more common now than what it was when you started, right? Especially as a personal trainer, that would have been very taboo back then. When we talk about high vibration plants and these little herbal tonics and herbal supplements and plant-based supplements and things like that, that's kind of like the system, and these like smoothie bowls and these are things that integrate with whole food eating. So we all eat natural foods, and we have an active lifestyle, and you were already active, Heather, and this was something that's already integrated and supplemented or complemented what you were already doing, and that gave you that health result. The second part as well with what you were sharing was this concept of like the network marketing, the shared economy. And, you know, I sit here in Bali, and when I started as an allied health professional, it wasn't common to me either. But every single person that I meet here, whether they're partnered with a tech platform, or whether they're partnered with the health company, or whether they're partnered with some retreats or like some conscious enterprise over here, every single one of them is doing some form of networked enterprise or shared economy, or they're part of some circular economy where they're sharing things and helping people help more people. So hopefully that gives some scope to where we go next, because what I'd love to ask is, you know, obviously you helped yourself, and there was this concept where, you know, you got to fill your own cup, and then you start to impact the people around you. And we've like helped maybe our first 5 or 10 people, but how did you help the first like 10 people? Because I think that's a common challenge for the everyday person, is to go, okay, cool, I can recommend for my best friend to go to the same coffee shop, and that's easy. But when it comes to health, how did you find that? What were the challenges with helping the first 10 people like integrate this into their life in the same way that Dave and Irene helped you integrate this into yours?
It's funny because I have to be honest, Rory, I was hideous. I was terrible at it. Yeah. I coming from a nutrition background and personal training background, I thought it was the most important thing for me to tell everybody my knowledge.
Yeah.
Sit them down, tell them my knowledge, almost lecture them really about the benefits, the experience I'd had and what they were going to feel. And it took me a while to understand that people really aren't interested in me. They're interested in what this can do for them. How can it help them? So I am, you grow into this journey as we know. And for me, I really started to understand before all the systems came into place that we have to ask people, how would your life improve if you could move better, if you could sleep better, if you could play with your children more, all those sorts of things. So I really took it a little bit from a different angle, not talking about, what was in it and how it would help. I asked them, what did they think would happen in their life if they could do the things that they weren't doing anymore because of lack of motivation or poor health or whatever their journey was. So that really evolved over a period of time and we still do that today. We still do that today. I mean, I didn't have it formatted then with a questionnaire. It really just was that, helping those first few people. And it was a trial and error. It was, is this going to work? But the one thing I will say there, for me, I had to find the way that I felt comfortable doing this. And that was it, really helping people to understand what this would do for them.
And that's great, because like, even I can see I've got a good friend that's on the call tonight. And I remember when I started, I had no idea about the opportunity to share this and create a secondary source of income on the side of being a physio and things like that. But I just said, who wants to do a detox with me? Like, I was in this point of desperation. Like, I couldn't get out of bed without with energy. Like, I had no energy at all, right? And I was napping throughout the day. And like 3 of my friends said, yeah, let's do it. And one of them was my best mate, Glennie, another guy with Tom McGrath, another guy was Tully, who was another physio. And we all had epic results. And it kind of just naturally, organically built from there. And we just started sharing and helping other people. And it became quite easy. And what I did notice over that journey is people who had less knowledge seemed to be able to share it with a lot more ease. Maybe, do you find that, like, having the knowledge and maybe being an allied health professional, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe it is tough to share it and keep it simple. Like, we have to be the expert, or we have to like be the knowledge giver rather than connecting person with the solution so they can figure it out for themselves.
It's funny you should say that, because one of the first things I thought, all the personal trainers need to know about this. Well, you can imagine I was, quite green, and I just burst into every personal trainer, and I think they all looked at me as if I was, crackers. I've learned with time that, not everybody wants what we've got, and that's okay. However, it doesn't take long for people to see when you consistently use these products, when you consistently be a product of the product, that they take a good look, because it isn't a fad, as we know. So it was very simple for me to share from a non-science point of view, because I didn't feel any pressure. I shared from an anecdotal point of view. Hey, Anthea's just started on these products. Have a look what Anthea's doing, how she feels. So, it only takes 1 or 2 people in a network of friends. Then you've got backup. You've got 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So that's how it organically works.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. It should be results driven, and it should be attraction based, and I guess that's the beauty of this, right? Now, I want to transition to the second part of your journey, because obviously it started with a health journey, and then as a single mum, you saw this opportunity where you could help people and then generate a secondary source of income, right? Now, just to give people a bit of an idea, like starting with the end in mind. From an income standpoint, obviously the disclaimers, and we've got to be wary of all that. It's relative to work and whatever. But what has this opportunity been able to give you in, say, your highest week, as in the utmost humility? Because I know this is something something that we don't often share, is the monetary stuff, but being aware of this financial wellness is really important. So if you're open to sharing, Heather, what has this been able to give you in terms of your highest income earning week?
Well, I often talk to people about this, and everybody does a business. Everybody steps outside of normality for a different reason. Mine, and I often think people join network marketing for inspiration or desperation. Mine was really neither. It was because I wanted to support Irene. And, I didn't ever envisage that my life could change in any way, shape or form. I didn't believe that could happen. So I think it does take something of bolt to make you sit up and realize what we've got. As you say, I had 3 jobs and I was back in the UK. And this is the thing for anybody listening. I shared definitely with a few people, and they shared with a few people. Nothing fantastic, nothing major. Came back to the UK, had a very serious business deal gone horribly wrong, and I was being threatened with a lawsuit that would take everything I owned. And it was then I sat up and realised I've got 3 jobs that aren't getting me there. I've got to do something different. But I was paid every single week from Isogenics through that period. And that was the turning point for me to decide I wanted to share this. I fumbled my way through for the first year of sharing, as you do. We don't just step into a millionaire's shoes. I think you'll agree with that, Rory. But it was never about the money for me. It was always about security. Money is a brilliant word, and it is a fantastic thing. But I always say to people that the money's concerned, and it has changed my life incomprehensibly. I couldn't even begin to tell you. I'm not a materialistic person. I live in the same house with my heart. Yep. However, it's created something very special from a time point of view.
Yes.
Anybody can earn money. Anybody can do any business that can earn money. If you can work hard and you're passionate about it, you'll earn money. However, there's nothing like this industry, like this company, that can buy you back time. Boom. So for me, yes, the money is fabulous. I won't go into great detail. If you could live on, quite a few £1,000s a week, then you're doing all right. But it's what we do with that money. It's what we do with that money. And that is the difference between having a great life financially or an extraordinary life from a whole different point of view.
And this is the reason why I want to get you on, Heather, because there's something that's shifting in the world right now, and it's this focus on impact over income. And a lot of us are just wanting to find a way to get the breathing space to have time to do the things that we love doing with the people that we love doing it with. And if we find that for ourselves and for the context of our own proximity, then that's usually enough for all of us, right? But then to have the ability to impact communities and to impact, friends of friends, and actually see the impact that goes beyond that. I'm sure, I'm someone in your network who you've seen this ripple effect continue and impact people that you never even thought would be impacted by the choices you made, right? So I just want to really honor you for that, Heather, because, in this world of marketing and rah-rah, there's so many people out there that are, I think, coming into this for the wrong reasons. And I think the reason why you succeeded is in what you said just then. So thank you so much for that.
And thank you. And thank you for having me on the call. But it's really important that we don't get misguided on this journey, because it's very easy to look around at what people are doing. It's very easy to look at the big picture, which we do. But if we can help somebody earn $100 a week, free product, eating the best nutritional products on the planet for free, and $100 a week, that changes their life. It changed my life immeasurably. So when somebody comes to me and said, I feel fantastic with those products, it's amazing. But when somebody comes to me and says, hey, Heather, I don't work weekends anymore, so I can be with my family, or my husband has an extra shift, that drives me even more, because they're the people who we're making a difference to. And, anybody in Isogenics, yourself, Aaron and Dave, everyone that's made a success of this, that's why we don't stop. That's why we still continue to help families, because they are the future. And we know now that, $100, £100 a week would change a family's life. And to me, that's just magic.
And that's really cool for anyone listening, either on Zoom or live on Facebook. If you want to play along at home and just, comment, what would be enough that would create that breathing space for you to have a little bit more time, or maybe to take a day off work so you spend with a family? Is it $100 a week? Is it $200 a week? Is it $500 a week? Is it what would be enough to just cover your mortgage repayments every week? Because I think that's where we can reverse engineer this, Heather, and go back to the beginning with you. And, coming into this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were a single mum at that stage when you started this, and, working 3 jobs, which I think a lot of single mums can relate to. I know my mum did it that way, and she showed me what hard work really is, and she'd give me the shirt off her back while she was still, serving from an empty cup, right? So let's go back to the beginning and start with, I guess, how you started to build this to where it is now, and run through that journey.
Well, I am an honest person. I was, the great thing about network marketing, it's very patient. It will pay you while you fail miserably. It'll pay you while you learn. It'll pay you while you think, what am I doing wrong? It pays. As the thing for me, I quickly found, and I hope people relate to this, that if I tried to be anybody else while I was growing this business, and I'll give you an example. I used to want to be like Irene, or really funny, like Jen Jeffries and Nat Cook. And, you know, I aspired to be like all of these people, and I failed miserably. And I realized you can only be you. Everybody else is taken.
Yeah.
So when I realized that, I went back to all of my friends that said no. This was the beginning part for me. All of my friends that said no, as we know friends do. And I said, hey, I know this isn't for you, but this is important to me. This is something I can see is going to be a way out for my family. It's a way I can personally create security for my kids. And all of my pals, of course, will help you. Of course, you know. So that was the starting point. I was honest and open with people. I accepted it wasn't for them, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So that's indeed. And as we know, this business, because of the way the model is built, you can invite two, who invite two, who invite two. And I kept it that simple. I kept it as simple as that. And I think you've got to find your groove in this. You know, you have to enjoy what you do. I understand living out of your comfort zone. I understand all of that. However, to be in something for life, which we are, I think you've got to enjoy what you do. And for me, I enjoyed creating communities. And one of the things I think has worked so well for me is my customers, my sharers, and my business builders are all treated equally. So whatever event we're going to, whatever event I've got, whether it's a kitchen table, coffee morning, everybody is included. And for me, that felt right. So to include everybody is one of the biggest tips I would give. And of course, you know, I've been running this quite seriously now for 7 years. And it's like any business, it's had its ups, it's had its downs. And once you accept those things, that everything else has been done for us. Everything else has been done for us. We eat and we share, we eat and we share, and it's a numbers game. And the more people you share with, the more people you help share, it grows. But you have to be prepared to stick with the down days, or the days that you feel it may not be going your way, because that's life.
And that's beautiful, because obviously what you're talking about there is what you can do individually, right? And how many people over that period, just as an example, how many people have you helped, like one-to-one? Like how many people has Heather helped get started with the program over that time? Over 300. So over 300 people, right? Now, from an impact point of view, how many people has that gone on to impact in your collective network? 102,000. 102,000, right? So, you know, as a personal trainer, that was, you know, I guess, you know, had all the objections in the world, who got started because a friend who you had trust with said, hey, give this a go, and bypassed all those objections just through that beautiful relationship. That was how simple it is. And it's created something that is not only going to like free you, but free your family, and also like create a ripple effect that's impacted 100,000 people, right? Now, one question I do have here from Scotty who's listening, he said, Heather, how did you shift from that allied health professional, that personal trainer mindset over to this network marketing mindset? And I think this question might hide in, you know, the fact that you could help 300 people by yourself, but to help the next 100,000, how did you do that? What type of mindset shift did you need to have? Hey there, Scotty. Thanks for the question. I honestly think it developed. I think it developed through me understanding that this is an emotional thought, you know, to go into something completely different. Network marketing, with all its, you know, negativity, can be surrounded by network marketing, or network marketing can be surrounded by negativity. We know that. But it was me understanding what it was doing for me on a personal level and what it was doing for the people I introduced. And I had to stay focused on the real truth. And, you know, I used to try and convince everybody in the beginning, Scott, I would tell them how great it was going to be. But I thought, if I keep continually doing this and keep continually sharing and showing people this grows, helping them to understand that this actually works, this truly works, was a consistent thing, I think. It was a consistent thing. And a big turning point for me was when I was still getting paid when I moved back to the UK. I still got paid when I wasn't as active as I should have been during that time when I was going through that crisis financially. So that to me said it all, that I was still being paid for the work I'd done earlier, and no other job could have done that for me. No other business could have done that for me. So I just stayed true on the facts. And when people said it wasn't for them, I stopped convincing people. I stopped convincing people. I just helped them to understand. And I think your friends are the hardest people, you know, and colleagues in the industry, they're the hardest people.
but I just kept being true to what the facts were of this. And that is where we have to separate the emotion from the truth.
Yeah, and I guess what's beautiful there is the integrity that you have, Heather, as a person, and the honesty and the vulnerability you have is the ultimate power. And coming from a background, and you're probably the same, where we've got degrees and we've got accolades and things that say we're smart on paper, right? But this is an enterprise that anybody can do. It doesn't matter if you're coming from nothing. You're literally coming from the streets, or you're someone who's got an MBA. It has no reflection of how well you're going to do in this business. How well you do in this business is based on your ability to help and support people. And, like you said, imagine, for anyone out there listening, that there's an opportunity where you impact 300 people over a 7 to 10 year period, right? That goes on to impact 100,000 people, which creates an income that frees not only your time, but it frees your location. It keeps paying you even long after the work is done, and allows you the breathing space to then just give back and contribute in such a natural way, which is the integrity that you kind of started with, right? Or the intention that you started with. But the thing I love about this, Heather, is just this I don't know, I think it's this idea that anyone can do it, but not everyone succeeds. So what would be like 3 key takeaways that you would have for someone who might be new to this as to how they could potentially succeed with this?
Oh, 3, I could do 303 the greatest things about this. But there's one thing I do want to, that I always talk to business professionals, if we talk to accountants or bank managers, whoever they may be. I don't look at things from a monetary point of view in the beginning. I always say to people, what is the thing you would like most? And 9 times out of 10 people say, I'd love more time. Of course, you can't buy time. So if we just looked at my business, for instance, at 100,000 people in the network, we know by stats that 10% of our network share. 10% share with others. So if we broke that down, 100,000, 10% is 10,000.
Yeah.
So everybody did an hour's work a day. So if you're looking from a business point of view, from a lifestyle point of view, I have 10,000 hours of productivity a day. You cannot get that from anything else. So I always like to say to people, what would a bit of extra time do for you, and how much time can you create at the moment with your existing business? That's what we talk about from a business point of view. The next thing I would like to say to people is detach from the emotion of it all. Be emotional with what you're doing, because we are in an emotional business, but detach from the outcome of the journey, because it will have its ups and downs, and there is no person in life who's created freedom for themselves that hasn't gone through the ups and downs of life. It's our ability to stick with what we believe to be true, which is we're consistently sharing what we have. And you have to stick through those ups and downs. That would be one of my, and find the fun in it. I see so many people get the knickers in a twist. This is fun if you allow it to be. You know, I've managed to my friends love what I do. Some have joined, some haven't. They support me at events. Find the fun in this. Nobody wants to join something that, you're working 15 hours a day. So find the fun, and find people who want to do the same as you. Find people who want freedom. Whatever that means to them. Yeah.
No, that's perfect, Heather. And thank you so much for sharing that, because this is a thing that I'm really excited about is the simplicity. And as human beings, we love the complexity. We like to make simple things more complex. But when this first came across my lap, I kind of stood back, and the too good to be true thing came along, and I guess the fact that anyone can do this. I was initially approached by a lot of people that were high on getting it out there and sharing this with me. But over time, the essence became clearer and clearer. And the reason why I got started with Peter initially was I saw the results. I saw the outcomes, and I started to see people freeing their time, and young people like 25, 26. And then they were earning like an extra $500 a week and $1,000 a week. And they were impacting more people. And it just seemed to happen really quite organically. And, that was only with launching into 16 out of 88 countries. And I guess now, we're launching into the UK, and this was one of the leading products, if not the number one product in Australia and New Zealand. And now it's come over to where you are now in the UK. So what would you, you're over there, and there's a lot of amazing network marketing companies and shared economies and products and services. And I want to give kudos to all of them, because we're not in competition with any of them, right? But what would you say would be the height of your excitement now with this launching into the United Kingdom?
First of all, I'm so grateful that you admire the network marketing companies. The higher we build our profile, the better it is for everybody. Some fantastic companies. And the UK is open to network marketing. They're UK entrepreneurial people. For me, first and foremost, it was the fact I could get my family and friends. My friends are 50 years on this product.
Yeah.
And that was the most exciting thing for me. My family, they'd never even looked at the products till we opened in May 2017. So for me to be able to help them has been phenomenal. When you think of Europe, when you think of the rest of Europe, England is the central part of Europe. We are going to cross Europe in the next 5-10 years. Doesn't matter how many years it takes. But you know, the great thing about the UK, which I really love this idea, we are attracting a big demographic of the start age, 18 to 35. We are attracting, and I think that's the biggest demographic in the UK that we've attracted. People get it here. They understand, and the start group here are phenomenal. But you know, we're a brand new country. We're brand new in the UK, but from a business point of view, I don't really think that makes any difference. We could launch here, you know, in 10 years' time, you could join from the UK and still have huge success here. And look at us, we're communicating from one country to the next. You know, we've opened in Spain and the Netherlands, and it will go across the rest of Europe if it is an opportunity not be missed. And I always think this will only come around once in your lifetime. But to see the people in the UK being wide open to health, it's gone off like a rocket, an absolute rocket. And I've stayed true to my love, which is growing communities. So, you know, if any of your guys have got anybody in the UK that they're speaking with, please direct them our way and we'll look after them.
And that's beautiful, because that's how we work. It's there's no competition even within our networks, because we all have the same vision, the same values, where we want to impact people, right? And this is something beautiful about Isagenix, which I don't think a lot of people know, but they actually shifted their focus from income to impact. And I had a call with Kathy Coover, which I think you might have been on as well, Heather, where the focus is now on impacting 1 million lives. We've impacted 900,000, and then it's going to be 2 million lives and 3 million lives. And the result being that obviously people create abundance and get health results. But do you find that to be a sign of the times where people are shifting to this integrity?
You know, I've never worried about being the biggest company. I've always, you know, there's always somebody who wants to be bigger than you. It's not about how big you will get, it's how well we will do in people's lives, the impact we will have. And I think that is a magical shift, because, you know, you might have a business that is huge, but no impact on your customers. You know, we will have had everybody who puts these products into their mouth, everybody who engages in our community will have had their life improved. And to me, to be more impactful is the most powerful thing. I personally love that. And I think the more we think that way, the more this will grow, because it's never about the individual. And I always say, you know, there is no separation between us. Jim and Kathy came out of retirement to set this up for us. We are in their team. You know, we are in Jim and Kathy's team, and if we're all from the same thought process, how many people can we help? The ripple effect will be huge. And the UK now, it's just magnificent to be here in the UK with the beautiful light nights. You know, we're out doing events in parks and sharing this in sitting outside the pub. It's great.
Yeah. And I guess what's another point to add to that is, you know, the health statistics are the same in the UK. And I think, you know, what we've seen happen in Australia and what we're seeing around the world is, you know, there's 1 in 2 people living with chronic preventable diseases. And you know, food is foundational to that. And we have something so simple that's, you know, it's allowing people to have access to some of the most high vibration plants from all around the world. It's intermittent fasting, it's cleansing, it's Ayurveda, it's Chinese medicine mixed with a bit of nutritional science. And it's like at people's doorsteps. And you know, I think it's our duty to share this with the people we care about. And obviously, like you said, not everyone is ready for a health change, but 95% of people that join our community start for the health. And the beautiful thing is only 10% shares it. So what that actually says is people stay for the products, even if they don't share it, and even if they don't earn an income, which I think is probably the most powerful thing. And the thing that really holds this company in integrity is that, like you said, it's really about the results. It starts with the health, and through that is word of mouth. And then naturally we share, we get over our own, you know, inhibitions to want to, you know, help others. And then it transcends ourselves and it becomes about them, and it becomes about their emotional problems that we want to help them solve. And like you said, Heather, if we can get to the point where we build communities together and we collectively help each other, then we can help have a big impact, not just in our local communities like you did with your friends and family, but then maybe, you know, have an impact in communities like the UK as well. So really want to thank you for that.
Absolutely. And I think part of this journey is to understand that we're professional network marketers. You know, they're professional bankers. We are professional network marketers, and we know that this isn't for everybody. However, it's our ability to be in the right place for those people when they need us. So it's imperative that we always keep that door open and be professional and have a great system. We turn back and check in with people. So many people are quick to say it isn't for them. It absolutely is for them. They're just not quite ready yet. So as professionals, we have to always be open and ready when they are.
Yeah. And let's finish with that, because I think that's such a beautiful concept of these, circular economies. And like you said, not everybody, like we've all got unique geniuses and talents, right? Not everybody wants to do this, but in the same way I refer to my best friend's cafe, or to a chiropractor friend, or, even to an accountant, we can have people refer to you to help them on this part of their journey. And if we all just keep doing that, there's this beautiful shared and circular economy, which is, I think, where the abundance principles of the 21st century really start to wake up, and we'll stop seeing ourselves as being separate from each other and start figuring out how we can have a bigger impact together. So Heather, from me to you, I just want to say thank you. And do you have any parting words before we shoot off?
Well, like I said, I normally see people, so I always like to have a quick chat with people. I can only see you. So thank you so much, whoever is on the call, whoever takes the time to listen to this. I always think it's amazing when people come to listen to strangers, somebody that they don't know. But yeah, enjoy the journey. Enjoy being healthy. Realise no matter where you take this, we're already winners. Yeah. By putting these products and being part of this community, we're already winning. So absolutely. Thank you, Laura, for having me on the call. It's been a pleasure. No worries. You got big love from Laura, and Scotty says thanks for that perspective from going from a PT to the network marketing and adding a new tool to your belt. Glennie was saying that he would love to find a way to earn $500 a week, and that would free him from his mortgage repayments. So it's all there. And yeah, thank you, Heather, for just keeping the ripple effect going. And if there's anything I can do to help you in the UK, I do see a lot of people come to Bali from the UK and they want to find ways to not go home. So you might find that there's people that I can help you with over here too. Absolutely. Thank you, Roy, for inviting me on the call. See you all soon. Bye, everybody. All right, catch ya. Bye.